Good morning, you absolutely beautiful, gorgeous people. What is going on? What's good in the hood? Hey, before I jump into it, I want to tell everyone, of course, good morning, Taco Tuesday. Uli's favorite day because she loves tacos. Do you think that the intro to the show is too long? You know, the cheap seats yell the loudest. So I've had a few people say, what is going on with that long intro? Listen, it's a minute. It's enough time. And I mean, when I say a minute, it's about a minute and 3 seconds. Good morning, Russ. Good morning. Exactly, Mirror Camp. It gives people time to get in. It also gives me time to get some more coffee, try to settle down OJ, and pee and wash my hands. Dear God, look at that. True Crime Beat, are you looking at this? Mel Mack said, love the thumbnail. Great job. That's what I'm talking about. The Edit Twin said, love the intro. Yes. Mel Mack said, no, it's fine. Angel P said, I'm addicted to it. Oh, and here is the PC answer. Look at that. Look at that. Just Me said, your channel, your choice. Don't be saying that too loud. Shit. They'll get out their torches and be out in my fucking front yard coming after me. Don't ever say it's my choice. OJ, just lay down. All right, so Jovi said some channels have 10-minute intros. Well, how long does it take those people to pee and wash their hands? Goodness. That is crazy. Okay, let me get OJ down. Right. That is enough for my kitty. Those are cords that Mama needs to have. You go on. Go watch the news. This is ridiculous. This is all True Crime Beat's fault because he's all hyped up because he heard her bird on the show. Crafts and Crime said average time is 10 to 15 minutes on most channel. Man, I couldn't imagine. I'd be in the shower. Takes me about 10 to 15 minutes to take a shower. Goodness. Oh, well, that's life. That is life. Lala said, just not CNN, OJ. No, he's watching Channel 6. All right, it's going to be one of those mornings. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. Just lay your fat ass down. Thank you. All right, Madeline Soto. Oh, my goodness. Let me tell you what. Stefan Stearns is quite the whiny ass. He has been enabled his whole life. Sorry, not sorry. I blame his mama. Because she's still talking to him like he's a little boy, even though she knows he has horribly violated Madeline Soto and ended her life. Well, she knows he's accused of it, and he's in jail for it. Before we get to it, let's take a second and welcome our friends. Say good morning, happy Taco Tuesday, and the intro's not too long, and everyone loves my thumbnail. So glad you guys are here. Now then, I'm going to start with, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put up good old Beige first. Okay? That's going to be the icebreaker. But she actually is, I'd say, Creamfield today. Ooh, that sounds bad. Normally we say Beigefield because she's always wearing beige. I just said Creamfield. Ooh. Okay, well. Here we go.
Stefan Stearns is about to go on trial for what happened to his girlfriend's 13-year-old daughter a year ago, February. Police say Stearns molested Madeline Soto for years before ultimately killing her. They charged him with sexual battery and possession of child sex abuse materials in addition to murder. Just days after her
True Crime Beat, next time we go to CrimeCon, do not walk up to Ashley Banfield and say we called her Creamfield. When we are at CrimeCon, she walks right up to Ashley Banfield and goes, Me and all my friends on Crime Lines and Lies call you Beigefield. Let's keep that one to ourselves, shall we? True Crime Beat? Diva, yes. Chat's going fast. Diva said, this case is disgusting and Jennifer Soto needs to be charged. And then some. And then some. She makes me goddamn sick.
13th birthday, Madeline was found strangled and dumped along a country road in the woods of Central Florida, not far from the family home. Her school had just reported her missing. Among the evidence is surveillance video of Stearns driving Madeline's body around in his car before moving her to the trunk. He's never admitted to anything, but during his long months in the county jail, he has been talking, sometimes to his parents. In newly released jailhouse phone calls, Stefan Stearns says Madeline was already dead when he found her. He seemingly admits to having inappropriate and illegal pictures of the girl on his phone, but he claims it was because, wait for it, Madeline had a crush on him. And the
Oh boy. Madeline had a crush on him. Did anybody ever crush on a teacher, an older brother of a friend's, anything like that? You just kind of blush when you see him. People don't act out on that. Let's just say Madeline thought she was really in a relationship with him. A lot like Celine Dion and her manager that's 26 years older than her and found her when she was 12. Got her teeth fixed, straightened her hair, mortgaged his house, and next thing you know, they're married. Shit, just like that. Now, I look at him and I look at Madeline. No. And no grown man would be flattered by his girlfriend's daughter, who is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, going on 13, would not be flattered by that. There would be an immediate boundary. But I'm telling you what, he's getting ready to turn on old Jen Soto. He's getting ready to turn on her.
that her mother knew it. If you have a strong stomach, have a listen to this.
None of this that was on the phone was a surprise to
She was aware that she had certain feelings towards me.
Yeah. Well, then why was she considering to sleep with you?
She used to joke about it, call it an electric complex. Used to joke and say, you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older, things like that.
Confirmed. I think it's just a matter of time for old Jen Soto. He said she used to joke, you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older. Things like that. That's called the get the hell out of town card. No, that's not a joke. That is pure perversion. And Jen Soto admitted it.
I've always told him that my biggest fear is that this would turn into a Woody Allen situation where the stepdaughter or the dad grooms the child and the child turns 18 and ends up running away with him. I told him that was my biggest fear and I don't ever want that happening. You can't do that to me.
Why would you say that to him?
Because I never trusted. I grew up being told never trust a man. My mom put that in my body. Never trust a man.
She needs to be locked up. She needs to be out of society. Yeah.
Then why was she considering to sleep with you?
She used to joke about it, call it an electric complex. He should yell to say, no, you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older, things like that. Laugh about it, and they used to both ogle over me and comment on me and talk about me together and giggle and talk about how nice I looked, and it was not an appropriate situation.
I know you can't talk about this, but it's like, it almost sounds like you didn't know something had happened to her.
Well, I discovered her, in the state that she was in after everything was said and done. So, obviously I can't get into detail, but no, I was not aware that she had passed on. As you know, I'm up and down throughout the night, and I was not in the room the whole time.
Does anyone think that's true? Remember, we're having a discussion here. Does anyone here think that's true? Sophia, bless you. She gifted 5 Crime Lines and Lies memberships and came in 10 minutes for the show and gifted 1. Look at you guys. Some people say they believe Jen did it and he's taken the fall. Either way, let's just say he has nothing to do with the big M, okay? Nothing to do with murder. He's still going to jail forever for the, as he says, inappropriate things. And what is this? Passed on. That reminds me of Billy Joe Howe saying Quentin has passed away. Quentin was murdered. It wasn't his time. You understand? Quentin didn't have a childhood illness. Neither did Madeline. She didn't pass on. She didn't pass away. She was murdered.
And it's not like you just suddenly feel someone's ghost pass away from them. It's a discovery.
As soon as you gotten away from the rest of them, you should have called me, and we could have discussed this, and the outcome would have been a lot different than what it is right now. But
I don't want to get your hopes up, and as I said, don't get carried away with any conspiracy theories. But in a way, I was compromised, and when all that stuff was happening, I was not in my right mind anymore.
So his dad is saying, once you got away from them, got away from the rest of them, you should have called us and things would be much different. No, Daddy Disney, no. There is still CP of Stefan and Madeline on his phone. We know it. Listen.
Go back inside. Me? I don't care if it's the love of my life sitting next to me. I don't care if it's maternal grandma. If the police come and take my mom's phone and my son's disappearance, I'm not going to offer my mom a lawyer. That's nuts to me. That to me shows you prioritizing Stefan. Because at that point, you became more worried about him being falsely accused than anyone. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Whether or not that's what you felt, does that make sense? People having lawyers is their constitutional right. That is a thing that everybody is afforded. But for somebody who's going through what you were going through, to offer him a lawyer leads me to believe that there may have been a conversation, there may have been knowledge, or there may have been some inclination that you had, whether it be his involvement, her location, or something to where in your mind there's guilt.
I promise you.
Because you offering him a lawyer is very weird.
I know. That was still me under the assumption that, I think at one point you guys interviewed me, and when you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if he did this stuff fine, but what if she's still missing out there? What if somebody took her? I still wanted to believe I believed him. I believed his whole story. So I was just like, I kept repeating that part. I'm just like, what if she did get dropped off? What if she got abducted? What if she's missing? But that was me assuming that you guys had the wrong guy. I wanted to think he was a good guy still, but clearly he's not. After everything you guys have told me and have shown me, I know he's the worst person on this face of the earth
know that
right now.
We know he's a piece of shit now.
You know?
But you didn't know that then.
I didn't.
Then you offered a guy who the police suspected of kidnapping, abducting, assisting the disappearance. Offered him a lawyer. And then we don't have to roundtable that. You went back to what you just said is the sex stuff is fine.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
My right mind anymore.
I should note that Madeline's mother has not been charged with any crimes as of yet. I want to bring in Matt Murphy. He's a criminal defense attorney and a former prosecutor who is also the author of The Book of Murder, A Prosecutor's Journey Through Love and Death. Matt Murphy, I just want to take a shower after I hear that kind of a phone call. I can't help thinking what a jury's going to think of a murder defendant who says that the 13-year-old had a thing for him. That just can't go over well.
You'd be shocked, Ashley, how often you see that in cases of child sexual abuse like this. It is almost a trope. You see it all the time. And I mean, you look at that photo on the screen, and I don't want to be glib because the case is so horrific, but I mean, like, how many 13-year-olds are attracted to the picture that we see on that screen? It's offensively stupid, and I think the jury's going to see it that way.
So,
no shit. He says, I don't want to be glib, but I can't think of too many 13-year-olds are going to be attracted to what we see on the screen. And I agree. We need an ear douche. He is so nasty. Just that whiny voice. Just that whiny voice. I'll tell you what, there is victim blaming and then there is victim shaming. And that's what this is. He is shaming his prey. I'm not mincing words. He is shaming the child he victimized in a lot of ways.
So one of the lines that just made me shake was that his girlfriend, Madeline's mom, that his girlfriend and Madeline used to ogle over him. And again, I just see not only victim blaming, but child victim blaming. He's allegedly got naked pictures of her on his phone. So put that all together. And does he have a hope in hell with any jury?
No. Now, Florida uses a bifurcated system because they're seeking the death penalties. There will be a guilt phase and then a penalty phase. And during the penalty phase, the court will instruct the jury that they need to weigh and consider the aggravating factors in this case. And there are so many, including, according to the documents I read, tens of thousands of images of that little girl either being sexually molested by him or maybe nude. She appears to be asleep. Jury is going to be horrified by that. I have no doubt that they'll take their task very seriously. But this is in the state of Florida. I would be shocked if the jury did not convict him under these facts. I'd be shocked. Of course, he's presumed innocent. I have to say that as an attorney, but I'd be shocked also if they did not return the verdict of death.
Thanks for.
Go Florida. Go Florida. Because the truth is, they're going to be mortified. These pictures will not be redacted. They're not going to have tape over anything. They're going to clearly see what they were taking pictures of. And yes, when they get to, they'll have the guilt phase. The only thing they have to decide on is he guilty or not? Well, yeah, a picture speaks 1,000 words. Especially when you're looking at a little girl with that piece of shit. Then we get to sentencing. They might give him death just for the rape, molestation, grooming, which is a federal offense. I'm really surprised that they have not slapped that on him. So he could get death just for this. Like I said, go Florida. All right, our friend Kat sent this to me. It's 43 seconds long, and it is absolutely, hold on, what'd Britt say? Exactly, Britt. In the plunger. Get the old plunger like Adam Montgomery. And a belly full of black people's poop.
Well, then why would she send her in there to sleep with you?
She used to joke about it, call it an electric complex. She used to joke,
No, it
say,
wasn't.
you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older, things like that.
Wow. Wow. Are you kidding me right now? You better not leave me for my daughter when she's 10 years old? Holy smokes.
Call it an electric complex. She used to joke,
No, it
say,
wasn't.
you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older, things like that. Laugh about it, and they used to both ogle over me and comment on me and talk about me together and giggle and talk about how.
Now he's talking about Jen and Maddie ogling over him.
Sick. Anita said, have you guys heard all the phone calls yet? Some yes, some no. So we're going to go through them together as friends and try to get through them. But before I get to it, let me tell you what. Every time we hear of a piece of shit mother like Jen Soto, and I'll tell you what, you just name them all, somebody jumps up and says, hold my beer. Because in Anderson, Indiana, a teenage girl told Madison County Sheriff's deputies she would wake up in the middle of the night to an Anderson man, Indiana, standing at the front of her bed masturbating. He claimed to be looking for the cat. Well, the cat was not in his pants, okay? And the cat didn't need to be jerked off. Robert L. Short, 30, was arrested on Monday on a warrant issued in February. He's charged with neglect of a dependent, a level 6 felony, performance before a minor that is harmful to minors, another level 6 felony, and obscene performance, a misdemeanor. Why is that a misdemeanor? He's since bonded out of jail after posting $500 bail. Okay? Oh, it gets worse. Okay, there he is. Oh, looks like the cops tuned him up real good. Look at that shiner. Look at that. Wow. No, you don't let these people out. $500 bail. That's disgusting. And my understanding is the mom bailed him out. According to court documents, the Madison County Sheriff's Department was first informed about the allegations against Short in October of 2024. The mother of the victim confronted Short about how he allegedly had been playing with himself in her daughter's bedroom at night. Oh my word. Investigators would learn Short's reported behavior had been going on for some time. The victim recalled waking up in the middle of the night to Short standing at the foot of her bed and touching himself. He claimed to be looking for the cat, but there was no cat in the bedroom. And there's no cat in his pants, okay? One of the times, Short was allegedly completely naked and wouldn't answer the teen's question about why he was in her room. He just stared and asked to make eye contact with her. That is disgusting. The teenager said Short would also masturbate in the bathroom across from her room while watching pornography on his phone. He would reportedly leave the door open and be in full view. Investigators gained access to the victim's mother's phone and found several text messages where the teen informed her mother about Short's behavior. The victim even talked about how she'd put a chair and a blanket in front of her door to try to keep him out of her room. Wow. Again. Okay, this girl spoke up. She bitched to her mother. She spoke to investigators. I am not saying that Madeline did anything wrong. But again, here we have a mother saying, hold my beer, Jen Soto. When police spoke to the girl's mother, she admitted to being aware of the allegations for roughly a year, but had only recently confronted Short about them. The text messages confirmed this delayed response, with the victim texting her mother in early October. She said, "Obviously, you don't care enough because I'm still living in a house with a disgusting pervert." Well, the mom should be in jail and he should be back in jail. I have had it with these people. I have had it. What are they even thinking? Why is the boyfriend worth more than the child? Disgusting. And I don't want to get too nitty gritty with this, but I want to know what kind of a sick ticket honestly finds any kind of gratification by doing anything to a child, thinking of a child. That is pure demonic behavior. That is not normal. It is not to be excused. I don't care what some people say, how it's a mental illness. We need to treat it as such. No, it's not. It is a sick fuck. That's what it is. All right, this is from our friend True Crime Beat. She has downloaded all of Stern's jail calls. We're only going to get through some of them today because it's a lot of sick, sick stuff to go through. His mom is quite the enabler. She really is. Now, I do have a question. True Crime Beat and I were speaking about this morning. When they hang him out to dry after his trial in May, will they send him direct to prison where he's going to get the plunger and the poop treatment? Or will they leave him in county awaiting the next trial? I would love to know. His mom is very sick. She really is.
Mouse
Droid. M-O-U-S-E, droid.
Okay.
What is a mouse droid?
It's looks like a little, almost like a remote control car from Star Wars. You can Google it and see what it looks like, and then find a thing that looks like that with a brown strap attached to it. And that should be my watch, though.
I think we've been through about everything.
All right, Purple Dragon. All right, well, make a note of that.
The Purple Dragon is in the mouse droid, but the mouse droid is in the same box as the Purple Dragon.
Okay.
You got that?
Well, maybe
Yes.
I'll find a Rolex too, because we still haven't found that.
I never had the Rolex.
Okay.
I really.
Where is that blue and white little ceramic box that you had that you put stuff in?
That would have been in storage somewhere.
Okay, I thought you had it.
No. No, that would be somewhere in storage. So if you guys cleaned out the storage unit, then you may have come across it already.
Well, listen, we've got a lot of boxes that we're still going through. So.
Okay.
And I.
That's fine.
Well, the boxes are we just stuck in the garage.
Yeah.
So there's no place to put it.
Well, it'll be in one of those boxes.
Okay, babe.
Anyway.
We'll be looking for it. That's for sure.
Yep, and look for that wristwatch inside the mouse droid.
Okay.
Is he wanting them to sell the watch? What's going on here? What's up with the watch? I would think there's more things to be concerned about. Toys and a watch. He sounds like a little kid. Some people say it's from some injury he had when he was like 8 or 9 years old. Nah, I think his wiring's way off.
In the same box as the Purple Dragon, okay?
Okay. Definitely look.
Yeah, you'll see a whole bunch of other like Disney collectibles.
We're having trouble getting any cooperation with the classification people there to get you to sign the POA so we can get the car sold and start a little slush fund here for you for there.
Really?
But,
Yeah.
Well, they say because of where you're incarcerated that that can't be facilitated with bringing a document back and having it signed. So we told your attorneys about it, and we told them that we would overnight the POA. They could take it in, have you sign it, and I would include a self-addressed returned overnight envelope so they could just drop it off and send it to us. So maybe you can have that conversation with them.
Yeah, because bringing me documents to sign has not been a problem before. When the media asked for my consent for interviews, I had officers literally bring me a form and ask me if I wanted to sign it for consent or not. So I don't think that's really the issue.
So the media's reached out and tried to schedule interviews with you, and you
2 or 3 times.
accepted or declined? Yeah.
did you talk to them?
No, I've declined every time.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it wouldn't do me any good right now.
Yeah. Well, anyways, you can have that conversation with your attorneys. That would be great.
Yeah, that should be able to be arranged.
We got a new copy of your birth certificate for them.
Okay.
Which I was going to bring over for them so I can overnight that as well. So again, have that conversation that I could overnight the package along with the POA. They could take the POA into you, have you sign it, and then we could, and then I would include a return envelope as well, and they can send it back to us.
Yeah. As far as a birth certificate, I guess you would just have that included with whatever my belongings they took into storage when I was booked.
Say that again?
No, I don't know. This is for something that they're doing. They wanted to get your records from Sarasota Memorial and from Irvine, California for the kidney surgery, and both of those have their own forms that you have to sign them because you're an adult. You're no longer a minor. I can't sign for them, but so that's going as well.
You have those documents?
Yes, they're in the.
Oh, okay.
What county was I born in? It was Kane County, right?
Yeah. So we have your birth certificate.
What was the name of the hospital?
I don't know. Is it on the birth certificate?
Yeah.
Okay, if this is the Rolex he stole from his grandpa, then they just need to get it and they need to keep it. They don't be running around selling stuff so he can have his root beer barrels and good coffee and Michael Crichton books in the jail. But notice he's not that dumb right now because he's understanding money.
Does it matter?
I was just wondering if I ever need to find it for any reason.
Well, the Kane County would have it.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, the hospital doesn't have it. Kane County does it.
Okay. So I'll just contact the court for Kane County, I guess?
Yeah. So it was like $45 to get this copy of this birth certificate. It doesn't say which hospital.
Okay. But Kane County.
But it has, I'm sorry, Copley Memorial Hospital.
Copley?
Yeah.
With a C or a K?
C.
C, okay. Copley Memorial in Kane County. Okay. Just if I ever need to get that and I don't have anyone to rely on, it would help.
We're trying to get a hold of your attorneys that handled the things when you and Joey got run over. But it's changed so much, and the partners are split up, and I think one of them is in California that would be the one I wanted to talk to, but I've called and left him a message, and he hasn't returned the call.
Okay.
So we're trying to do anything that they asked us to do on our end, we're doing. And so I don't know we get pushback sometimes when we ask for information, but
No worries.
one of them informed me that she was a criminal attorney, not a civil attorney, and getting a POA done was not part of her business.
That was probably Alicia.
Could have been.
Yeah, she's a no-nonsense type.
Well, if she has your best interest in mind, it'd be his best interest to get it done so that we can keep you funded.
Yeah, well, one thing at a time, I guess.
Thank you, Sophia. And you're right. It's a lot to hear. Crafts and Crime said he just needs to take a plea. The photos say enough. Funny story. Well, not funny. Not funny. They're not offering him a plea. They want death. So he's swimming up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. They're not offering him nothing because the photos speak volumes. Oh, it gets better. This is all about keeping him comfy in county.
If you guys can find my watch, that will be another step in the right direction. It's in there.
There's okay. I just hope that it's somehow that you can really identify it because.
Identify what?
Where is that? What the box?
Okay, leave it on that. We'll just keep it.
Purple Dragon, mouse toy. Top of the mouse toy.
Okay.
Wristwatch it inside. Okay. What else is new with you guys?
Just going to church, doing open houses. We're studying the Book of Romans. I would love for you to read that.
And Lacey's going to have puppies.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going to miss that. I'd love to see all those little happy little wagging tails and bright eyes and smell all that puppy breath.
Oh, yes.
Do you know when your court date's going to be yet?
No clue.
Puppy breath. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to miss that. They want you to read the Book of Romans? Oh, hell no. Sorry, I'm going to miss that, all that puppy breath. Shit, he'd pull a Don Wells and he'd be fucking the poodles. He's so nasty. Good Lord.
Might not be for another couple months. It depends if they even need my testimony at all. Which, you would hope they would, but, at some point I assume I am going to see the inside of a courtroom.
Yeah.
Be a pretty strange trial without it.
Yeah. Well, there's been no news at all. So everything's just kind of status quo from where it was last time. Where have you been for the last week?
Couldn't make a call for a little while. Some of the people that work the night shift, as I said, are not as nice to me. So I've been waiting for people who are. And then, I got sick as well, so I've been sick for a few days.
Cold?
Presumably, yes. I've had a pretty bad fever and a sore throat and some serious pressure on my left inner ear. Yeah, like I said, this place is filthy and unsanitary, and obviously they don't clean these cells before they bring a new person into it.
Did they move you again?
Yeah, they moved me again as well. So I moved out of the room with the ants, and now I'm back into the room with the ants again, too.
Oh, well, familiar friends.
Yeah, they just love moving me, especially around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm comfortable and trying to fall asleep. I think they do it just to mess with me, honestly.
Well, if that's all they do, then be happy.
Yeah, well, it's hard to be happy though.
It could be a lot worse.
Yeah, it could. People have survived a lot worse than this, but
Yes.
We'll see what happens, I guess.
But when it happens,
It's air conditioned in there, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So I've got that at least for now. Although one little room they put me in before was tiny and did not have air conditioning, or at least the air was not circulating in there, so it was hot, it was stifling, and it smelled like an old dog kennel. I'm glad they moved me out of that.
Did you got enough bedding to keep warm at night?
Well, I have one mat and one little thin, scratchy wool blanket.
No sheets on the mat, I assume?
No pillow, no sheets, nothing.
Okay. Well, it's not the Ritz or the Holiday Inn.
1 minute
No.
remaining.
There's the 1 minute warning. God, these 15 minutes go by so fast, just like my break at work. So I'll try to call you back in another 15 minutes, but you know the drill. If you don't hear back from me again, day or two.
Okay.
Okay, we love you, honey.
Love you too, Mama Bear, but I will try to call you back in 15 minutes if possible.
We'll be hovering over the phone.
Good Lord. Well, I've only got a minute left. I'll call you back in 15 minutes. How much do these calls cost? True Crime Beat, do you know how much these calls cost? Does anyone have any tears? Any tears floating down? Anyone about the ants? Using toilet paper for a pillow? No. No one's concerned.
Something to occupy your time.
Yeah. But hard candies, saltines, and coffee, those are seem to give me the best bang for my.
Okay. All right.
Chips and things like that, the pickles and all that, it just doesn't last the way you want it to.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hard to have just one per day, you know?
Yeah.
Especially with the meals like they are, and you know, you never feel full after a meal, so you always feel like in your stomach, especially after dinner, because that's around 6 or 7, and then there's nothing else until like 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
So, and you know me, I'm
well, you've had a
lifetime
of snacking all night long.
Listen to his dad. Well, you've got a lifetime of snacking all night long. So you need a lot of root beer barrels, don't you, son? OMG. Yeah. You did good for yourself, didn't you, Stefan? White bread, SpaghettiOs on your birthday, beefaroni from your mama, root beer barrels, coffee, books, toilet paper for a pillow, concrete blocks all around you. Got to keep him comfy. Let me tell you how sickening this is. Think, if you can wrap your mind around it, think about, I'm not even going to say from the ages of 8 to 13, the pain, the discomfort, the embarrassment, all the things that Madeline was made to do. Think about her final moments. How scared she was. She could not have consented to any of this. No. Could not have consented to any of this. She is cremated. Her urn is sitting in her dad's house somewhere collecting dust. Sorry, but that's the truth. And there's his dad. Well, gonna have to send you something because you got a lifetime of snacking all night long. At least his dad knows.
Yeah, well, plus my metabolism doesn't help.
Yeah. So.
See, what's really killing me though is my back and my hips.
The bed.
Yeah, the quote unquote bed. Your bones can break through and rest on the floor underneath. So you know, it hurts hips, and then your knees are resting against each other, and it's tough.
Yeah.
When the lights are on, in these pods and suicide watch and medical, the lights are always on overhead, and so they're real bright. So you try to find a way to block it out, and any way you lay is just terrible.
Yeah.
You get all the debris from the floor that ends up on your mat and your blanket, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Just really keep hoping that something's going to break in my favor with this trial.
Well, okay.
I have to have hope about something, you know. I have to maintain some sort of hope, otherwise I've got nothing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've always given my guardian angel one.
Well, you've been there. You've been there for what, 3 months now?
Yeah, at the end of this month it'll be 3 months.
March, April. Yep, 3 months. So.
Well, like I said, the whole process could take 2 or 3 years before it's concluded. So, and I've already been told that if the prosecution is smart, that they'll drag it out as long as they can.
Yeah.
So, who knows what's going to happen? So, just keep hoping we can find something.
Well, you know, as soon as you get some reading material and we know that arrives safely, then we can arrange for other stuff.
Yep. That will be good, having my own little mini library with stuff that I like to read, instead of just what, you know.
So when they move you from cell to cell, how do you move your stuff around?
I toss it all in my blanket, close my blanket up, fold my blanket up into my mat, and then push it.
And here it is, Lala. Said not once do they consider a child lost her life at his hands. Exactly. One way or another, that's exactly what happened. Great comment, Lala. Great comment.
Oh, they move you, blanket, and mat.
Yep. Typically they'll move me with the mat, but if they don't, I'll take my blanket and everything and just hope that they clean the mat in the new cell well enough, which last time they did not.
Yeah. Right.
I found a whole wad of shit underneath at one time. At least I hope.
So you get to well, you should, you know, maybe complain to management.
No.
Yeah, well, I'll be sure to include it in my Yelp review.
Yeah. Yeah.
1 star, accommodations suck, food terrible.
Yeah. Well, the idea is not to be there, but but it's too late for that.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, Stefan, I could never have imagined that we would all be in this situation. I just couldn't. There's no way I could have ever even visualized this. This is awful.
Yeah, me either, to be honest.
Fuck me running. Joby said, are these people for real? There's his mom. I just can't believe we're in this situation. I could just never visualize it. He goes, me either. Seriously? You were taking pictures of your private hanging out of a child's mouth and other areas, and you said, you can't believe it's happening either? This is not a situation. This is not a situation. This is a crime. This is a crime. A horrible, horrible crime, because Madeline is dead. And even if she had survived the horrific abuse, she would still have a ton of healing to go through. This is not a situation. This is a crime, a capital crime in Florida.
Well, I mean, things kind of went sideways, whatever happened with, so you knew that was going to go down a rat hole.
Yeah, well, I never in a million years that she would not be around anymore, so.
Yeah. So once that went sideways, whatever happened, you know, That was all she wrote.
Yeah, well, I can handle a lot of things.
Not in.
What's that?
I said, still has not been heard from except for an interview she did with a newspaper where she told everybody that she did sleep with you guys and she did sleep with you in the other room.
As I was going to say, I can handle a lot of things, but one thing I just can't reconcile or figure out in my mind or wrap my head around is the fact that, he doesn't get to live anymore. There were a lot of things that I wanted to see for her, She had another year or so before high school. Learning how to drive, figuring out what she wanted to do with her life. I was excited to see where she was going, I was really impressed with the person that she was finally growing into.
Well, got a whole lot to talk about, a lot to own up to.
Well, again, I know you can't talk about this, but it's like, it almost sounds like you didn't know something had happened to her.
Well, I discovered her, in the state that she was in after everything was said and done. So, obviously I can't get into detail, but no, I was not aware that she had passed on. As you know, I'm up and down throughout the night, and I was not in the room the whole time.
Ilyanka. Girl, we got another good comment. Well, tons of good comments, don't get me wrong. She said, you didn't want Maddie to grow up because she would have got too old for you, sicko. Hence why Jen was complaining to her friend that when she was intimate with Mr. Pasty Disney, he only wanted the Hershey Highway with her. Now, I'm sure you girls know about anatomy and your own anatomy. You don't need pregnancy test if you're taking it up any or down any orifice besides your vajayjay, okay? And you are right, Ilyanka. He didn't like her getting older. He didn't like the whole how she had a crush on another boy. He didn't like that. Fabulous comment, Ilyanka. Yep, because old Jen complained about his girth and how it hurt her bunghole.
It's not like you just suddenly feel someone's ghost pass away from them. It's a discovery. And
so she wasn't even in the same room with you?
Well, she was in the room that I started in, but I'm up and down throughout the night, and I tend to wander around the house and fiddle around on my phone and step out front and feel the nice cool night air and all that. So I was gone from the room for. Obviously, I really can't get into too many details, but
yeah.
Okay.
I didn't discover what had happened until just around dawn.
Okay. Interesting.
Because I discovered that she was ice cold.
Well, all I can say, Stefan, is that my heart breaks for you because I know that's something that you never would have done and never would have wanted to have done to her.
And right.
Neither would we.
Right.
I'm angry on your behalf that it happened, and I'm angry that you got dragged into it by them. So I'm just angry.
Do what? So now he's saying around dawn, he came across Madeline and she was already dead. His mom is like, I'm angry on your behalf that you got drugged into this. Whoa, no. No. Good morning, Tammy Crimes. How are you, baby? No, nobody drags an adult into SA with a child. His mother should be beyond appalled that she raised this thing. And this thing is calling her for books, pillows, coffee, root beer barrels, SpaghettiOs. If he's rolling on gin, I'm all for it, though. It's not going to get him out of any hot water. So this will be a case where we have a dozen in one hand and a dozen in the other, because his ass ain't going nowhere. There's no get out of jail because you got drug into something defense. Bullshit. Even kids don't get away with got drug into something. Now, True Crime Beat is going to go to a couple of days of the trial. I will not be airing it because I have a feeling I can't, because they're going to go through thousands and thousands and thousands of images of Madeline Soto not blowing out birthday candles, not opening up a baby doll on Christmas morning. These are beyond inappropriate pictures they're going to have to look at.
Was there anybody else at the townhome that was not a regular person?
No, which is why, I keep saying that I'm not sure that there's any one person, honestly, to blame. But they're certainly trying to blame me. And according to the autopsy report, like I said, it raises a lot more questions, but they seem to be settling on trying to say it's homicide. Like I said, it has something to do with bones in her throat, but take that to mean what you will.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
But I would never have done anything like that.
No. I mean, you're the same person that cried when I asked you to dispatch a little bird that broke its neck or something and was flopping around.
Yeah, same person that cares about people, cries at movies.
Yes, I know.
And then there was Skippy.
Skippy, yeah. Rue. Jaybird, yep, I remember them all. Burying them was very hard for me.
Yeah.
And
all I know, Stefan, is when I look at a picture of you and I look into your eyes, I don't see a monster there. I don't see a bad person there. I see my son who I love. That never will change.
Well, thank you. And I know that I'm not a bad person or an evil person or a monster.
No self-realization there at all. I know I'm not a bad person. I know I'm not an evil person or a monster. You heard me, Mom. I cried when birds broke their wings. I was naming the birdies outside my window. Mom, I even cried when I watch movies. You're right, son. You're right. He goes, I'm not a bad person or an evil person or a monster. Shut up. Yes, you are.
No. But you do need to dive into the Bible head first and stay in it, because you need grace. You need God on your side as a warrior on your side.
I keep asking him to help me through this somehow. I know that
And you still don't have a Bible?
I have a Bible. I have a King James version.
Okay. Well, we're looking into getting your large print Bible. So I want to make sure that this delivery gets to you, and then I can order one from the publisher and get it to you large print, so you won't need glasses.
Well, hopefully it does. We have no idea how often they pick it up or how long it'll take to get here and get sorted and get delivered, if it does at all. But I haven't received any written notification of anything being returned yet, so.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll judge it from there, and so we'll just make sure that we're timing this right. So
keep
The
praying.
Bible will occupy the majority of your time.
Yep, I keep praying to God for help, for some kind of miracle. I mean, I know I've probably run up my divine credit as far as miracles go with my guardian angel and God working in overtime to keep me alive as long as they have. But I keep hoping for one more big miracle, one big salvation. And
have you got some way to keep a journal of notes that you would take from reading the Bible?
I can get a pad of paper off the commissary, and I can get more pens and stuff too. I think my commissary is about negative $10 by this point. But I know I can get a pad of white ruled paper off of there.
Okay. So do I need to replenish the commissary yet, or wait?
If you want to, yes. But I'm not going to use it on snacks, just on essentials for now.
All right, how much do I need to put in?
$50.
Okay. All right.
It's going to be dropped down to 40 like immediately.
Okay. All right.
We're about to be cut
We're
off.
just about out of time.
Yep, I'll talk to you later. I love you both.
Love you too. All right.
Sorry.
Hello, you have a call at no expense to you from
Stefan Stearns.
Stefan at Osceola County Corrections Department. This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking.
Hey, is this a good time?
Hold on. Yeah, I was on the phone with somebody else, and first time you called in and inadvertently hit the wrong button. Hang on, I'll put you on speaker. Hang on. Okay, I got you.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hey.
Somebody's in as well.
He's always in the well.
Yeah.
He's in a big room.
Yep, very echoey. Oh.
Did you get any of the books we sent yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
But I don't have any notification of anything being sent back either. I had a meeting with the mental health director a couple days ago.
The mental health director. Got to read the Bible. Look at Romans. Look at Jesus's teaching, if that's the way he wants to go. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about harming children in the Bible. None. None, none, none. There might be a couple of loopholes about things like murder, self-defense, acts of war, things like that. But there is no, nothing. So he can sit there and talk about the Bible all he wants, but I hate to tell him, he's pissed off Jesus. He needs a lot more than root beer barrels and SpaghettiOs in the jail to get out of what he's got coming to him. We talk about it all the time on this show. What do you want? You want hell on earth? Or do you want hell? Or you can have both. This isn't the way to do it.
Go. She said they're going to step me down, take me down a step in custody level. So I'm going to be taken off non-acute status, and as soon as a space opens up in one of the regular isolation cells, I'll be moved to one of those.
Okay, good.
Does that mean that we can get a document to you and we can get it signed now?
Possibly. She said they won't put any restrictions on me.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. And when is that supposed to happen?
What's that?
Well, when is that supposed to happen?
Whenever a space opens up in one of those cells.
Oh, okay. All right.
She's on space. This is a very crowded jail. There's over 2,000 inmates.
All right. And you'll still be in kind of isolated protection?
Yep.
He's not going to shower. He's not going to shower. No. He's afraid of getting shanked. Now, he's in county right now, so he's protected. When he goes to the big boy prison, there's not that many people in county. It's a small county jail, but when he goes to the big boys prison, he's going to be swimming with sharks. No, you don't want somebody with some sharpened spoon that's in there for, 48 hours, sleeping off a DUI, getting after his ass. No. Stinky ass.
I'll still be in protective custody. I'll still be by myself. I just won't be under self-harm watch.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I won't be in any of the self-harm pods.
Okay.
So that's
all right. Well, I guess that's better accommodations. You'll have concierge services.
not likely, but I might actually have a rack to put my mat on, so I'm not going to be on the floor. Maybe I'll have a seat and a table. Who knows? I won't be surrounded by crazies all the time.
Okay.
Or relatively so.
All right.
That should be an improvement at least.
All right. Sounds good.
Yep. Any other news or updates on your end?
No. Everything's still status quo. Somebody sent us a link to a YouTube video that, these amateur sleuths, just are relentless. They just go down any and every, path they can go. And so this link to this YouTube video, had, tracked all your internet activity and all the sites that you had joined.
Dark web.
The dark web, whatever, but some of the offbeat websites. So I'm sure you know what I'm referring to without me having to name them.
Okay.
So I'm just.
Here we go again. Amateur sleuths. Amateur sleuths. I think we can all read in here, correct? I think we can all read. We know what's in that probable cause affidavit. We know what the news reported. We know Maddie is dead. We know he was driving around with her dead body. Not a lot of investigation to be done on this end, correct? So now his dad's talking about the dark web. And he goes, okay. Now, this is what I've been really, really wanting to know. Do not think Homeland Security is not involved in this case. Do not think it. But he goes, okay. Because we have a whole new can of worms. If we find out, and we will, it will come out, that Madeline's pictures are floating around the dark, deep web. Hell, if they can get Josh Duggar, they can definitely get this dumb fuck.
Telling you that all that should exist out there. And, oh, by the way, I sped through this 2-hour YouTube video, and your former roommates at the townhome that you rented have ratted you out in ways, and fabricated stories about a shared network drive and video that had been recorded, and supposedly approached your mother about them, threatening to disclose you in these videos, and that we paid them off, which was total bullshit. We've never heard about this until these videos and these asshole friends of yours have managed to get themselves on these YouTube channels and disclose all sorts of shit. Because I can tell you this, if any one of them, and we know who we're talking about, had come to us with that, we would have told them, feel free to do whatever you want. We're not paying you jack shit. If somebody had done something, I suggest you pursue it with them or the authorities, but don't bring this up to our attention ever again. I can assure you that we would not have paid off anybody. It wouldn't have been our problem, and we wouldn't have paid for it, period.
So my former roommates are trying to blackmail you into paying them off?
No. They're claiming that they had supposedly come to us and blackmailed us and that we paid them money, which they've described it in two events, one at a restaurant and then your mother supposedly showing up at the townhome with a manila envelope. And you and I know, and we all know, that is bullshit.
Yeah.
Didn't happen, didn't exist, never did it.
It never happened.
And if they had done that, I would have said, go ahead and do whatever you want. You're not getting a penny from me. It's
All right, Stefan. Okay, Mr. Disney, Daddy Disney, Mama Disney. That's one thing you're not guilty of then, okay? Now let's look at murder, molestation, SA, the big R word. Let's look at all of that. Grooming, and his reaction to when the deep web, the dark web came out. He went, okay. Now remember, this is the guy that accidentally factory resetted his phone. Okay? Accidentally reset it. Okay.
It's not my problem, so don't even come to me with it, period.
Are they aware that blackmail and coercion is also illegal?
Well, it's kind of a moot point when you're looking at the number of years ago this was. And right now it's their word, it's hearsay, but I'm just telling you what these amateur sleuths are repeating. Matter of fact, they even said that we owned the townhome, which we didn't.
We've been living in $1 million homes, and you were a spoiled, rotten kid because of it. And I'm thinking, we've never been in $1 million home.
But anyway, I'm just telling you the bullshit that goes on out there, which is why I don't pay attention to these YouTube videos. But I'm just telling you, your former roommates have, done a nice job of sabotaging or discrediting your character and what have you. So everybody's jumping on the bandwagon, throwing you under the bus and what have you. But I'm just relating this story of that's been repeated a few times about some video being recorded in the townhome, and that they came to us requesting, and we pleaded with them not to disclose it, and we paid them off, which is just absolute bullshit.
You should be very careful about that because they're seriously opening themselves up to a lawsuit for defamation.
Well, it takes money to sue somebody, and you have to prove it, and so no one's going to take a case like that pro bono, and it's not worth chasing. And you have to prove damages, and we haven't suffered any damages. But I'm just telling you the bullshit that's floating out there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But anyway, they've done their search, and they've discovered some of these websites that you've subscribed to, participated in, or what have you. So I'm just giving you a heads up that they are leaving no stone unturned as they go down a rat hole chasing this shit.
Crazy.
Yep.
Don't even try to figure out why they did it, because we can't figure out why they did it, except
Who did it?
the roommate.
Okay. All right, we moved on past that.
Yeah, but the thing is that these YouTube sites give people a chance to talk with complete immunity, because they never check them, they never fact check them, they don't care about the facts, they just care about getting people to click on and pay them money for the YouTube site. So.
And supposedly these hosts of these YouTube channels pay these people to provide.
Raise your hand if you're getting paid by this YouTube host. OJ, are you kicking people money? Quit. Don't do that. Always YouTube's fault, is it not? Now, sometimes it should be, because there's some real nasty pieces of shit out there. There really are. There are some real nasty YouTube creators. I say all the time, watch where you step. But these YouTube hosts, these channels, they pay these people. I can't speak for whatever you're watching there, Daddy Disney, but it don't work that way around here. We can have opinions. We can say, well, this is what I think, that type of stuff. But we follow what law enforcement has said. We follow the facts.
This information as well. So whatever that's worth.
And some roommate.
Oh yeah, the roommate. That's really funny. So reading this interview of the former roommate said that both you and were grossly overweight, and you both had gastric bypass. I mean, I'm just telling you, this shit is just what I don't. They didn't disclose her name, okay? But you know, to say that you had gastric bypass, which you've never had, and that you were grossly overweight, which you never were, again, is the bullshit that's just floating out there on these YouTube channels.
Well, I had gastric bypass, but
Yep.
it's not a big deal these days.
Understand, but they're saying that you had it. You know,
They're saying that she refused to take her bipolar meds, which she was very forgetful, you know, and didn't do a lot. But they were saying that it was not ADHD, but they thought she was autistic. And like going, no, she wasn't. She wasn't autistic.
It was a question mark. You know, you had one doctor saying that she was possibly on the spectrum, another saying, no, it doesn't seem like it, she's just ADHD. And other doctors didn't know, so it was a question mark.
Yeah. But anyway, it's a
There is a different form of victim shaming, victim playing. Victim shaming, victim blaming, victim playing that's going on in our society that I am not comfy with. I don't know if you saw it yesterday or not. I hope you did. Looks like a lot of people didn't. I did a video yesterday afternoon. Yay me. And this stepmother who was horribly abusing her stepson, kind of like Letitia, came up with this autism diagnosis, which he does not have. Okay, let's just say, because I'm really getting tired of kids getting slapped with these labels. Let's just say Maddie had all the above. Autism, ADHD, everything like that. That does not excuse what happened to her. No. Getting really tired of that. I think it's way below the belt. No pun intended.
three-ring circus out there with these YouTube channels, which is why I don't watch them. Your mother doesn't watch them, but every now and then somebody sends us a link to something. And like I said, I sped viewed it and, came away with a little bit of information and a lot of bad information, misinformation, inaccurate information, but it is what it is. And so I'm not going to bother with it. You know, you have to consider the source and the validity of it, and everybody's highly speculative about whatever they come across, and then they try to make something monumental out of it that just doesn't exist. You know,
I don't know how they can even find jurors that haven't listened to some of this crap.
Yeah,
They can't.
Oh, they'll find jurors. They'll find jurors. Oh, yes, they will, because not everybody watches that crap. Okay? Not everybody watches that crap. Stefan's like, they can't. Bullshit. If they have to move the case to Alaska, they will. Okay? If they got to get on one of Elon's SpaceX's and take them up to space and find some aliens that have never heard about Madeline Soto, they'll do it. Now, I have a feeling that old Mama Disney and Daddy Disney are doing their own research to get Stefan out of hot water, because when True Crime Beat was in court, was it last week, True Crime Beat, or the week before? They were complaining a lot about YouTube and even mentioned True Crime Beat. I can imagine how much she was blushing that day. That's going to be a big part of their narrative of defense.
It's tainted. It's tainted. The whole thing is tainted now.
Yeah, they might have to shop it out to a different venue, but even at that point, I think it's going to be hard to find anyone who hasn't heard about all this.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. And the minute they do hear about it, they're going to go in, and even though they're not supposed to, they're going to go in and check the internet, and they're going to see these things. They're going to believe this stuff because they don't know the difference between truth and non-truth.
Fact and fiction.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's nothing, if I go in and say, you people are idiots. You know this never happened, and I can't do that because it won't do you good.
You don't want to engage with it.
So, don't want to give them. They're not worthy of the merit of any comments, and they can just enjoy themselves. And then when the truth comes out, then they'll have to do a lot of backtracking. Yeah, right. Okay, sure. But anyway,
I will tell you this, Stefan. You know that we're saved people. You know that we're Christians, and you know that these people came to us many times for help in their living situations, and you know that we helped all of them. I don't understand why these kids think it's so wonderful to jump on this bandwagon and crucify us when we were there for them when they needed us. I don't understand that.
It's because we have fallings out for various reasons, and
That's called life, Roberta Jr. She's like a Roberta Laundry. It's like what I say about Brandon Shirtlift's mother, Tina. She's the Roberta, Idaho. This is another Roberta in Florida. That's called life, Christian lady. No good deed goes unpunished. Gotta be kidding me. That's called life. Just because you do a favor to somebody doesn't mean you can shit on them the next day and they're okay with it. All the good deeds go out the window.
can't resist the temptation to kick me while I'm down because they think they can do it with impunity.
Absolutely.
They didn't have the balls to do it when it was free.
What's that?
So they didn't have the balls to do it while it was free.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they were jealous. You know who was always the one with the little
denial. They're just jealous. They didn't have the balls to do it when I was free. No, but they now know what you were doing with your balls. That's the reason everyone hates your ass. And yeah, your parents are going down with the boat because they're supporting you. If your parents were talking and saying, we don't support any of this. Hey, we might kick him a tenner here and there to get some coffee or throw him a book so he doesn't totally lose his mind. But other than that, we don't support him. They're making excuses for him. You can see why he got this way. His mother has huge issues.
very, very something on his back, the mouth.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was always so jealous of you. He's so jealous of you.
Jealous.
And,
He sabotaged me at every turn. I mean, if you remember when I was working Quiznos, I was in lines for management, so he started working there. Then suddenly everyone's attitude towards me changed, and he became a manager.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, that's what he does.
And, there were people in our friends group who, for some reason, were under the impression that I was a complete moron.
Well, they should check your IQ score.
Well, I know he was backstabbing and trying to put himself above me at every opportunity.
Yeah.
Found out a while back that he was even stealing my possessions and selling them.
Like what?
airsoft gun. I mean, my street board went missing. A lot of my Pokemon cards went missing. There's the one missing.
Are you talking about when you got the roommates, he was stealing your stuff and selling it?
Yep.
No surprise.
Nope.
I believe that.
He needed to support his lifestyle somehow, and did the same thing with his parents' crap too. So.
Yeah.
What else?
I know he peddled his dad's pills.
Yeah, he was a first class citizen. We all know that, which is why he got kicked out of his house.
Yep. And anyway, I'm going to call you back in 15 minutes if I can, because we got the 1 minute line.
All right, later.
All right, bye.
They're just jealous. They're just jealous of you, little Stefan. They're just jealous. Everybody should know you're a Christian. You got a good IQ score, and you cry when birdies break their wings. He's like, I even cried at movies, Mama. I even cried when I was watching those movies. You sure did, son. You sure did. His roommates are probably telling the damn truth. This is a very high-profile case in that area. I'm not saying worldwide. Anita Blackstone said, I wish his mom and dad would have been shown the same pictures Jen was shown, and maybe their tune would change drastically. Exactly. Fuck the birds. His IQ and the jealous friends. At this point, everything is pointed straight to him and Jen Soto.
Hello, you have a call at no expense to you from
Stern,
an inmate at Osceola County Corrections. This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking.
Hey, sweetie.
Hey, I'm back.
Yay.
So, I spent the last 15 minutes thinking about these yahoos.
They aren't worth the time.
Can't believe that. It's
No,
not
it's true.
for all of them that they would try to do this.
You know, these are the same ones that came to you for help and were always saying what a good friend you were, and you would keep all their secrets for them and stuff. But yet they don't have any secrets of yours. They'll make them up just so that they can make themselves sound big on YouTube. You know.
Yep.
It's a sad situation when people are that desperate for attention.
Yep.
Especially when Sir Lancelot was the one going to community college to learn how to be a computer programmer, and he's the only one who could have set up a network if there ever was one. So forget that. That's bullshit.
I'm
You
sure
know, he did it if anybody did it.
paid for information and decided he would make some stuff up and get paid on my account.
Yep.
Whoever paid him ought to get a refund because he fleeced them.
They don't care. Do you know how much money they made off of it? To have all this purulent information on you, to have people click on. These people are vultures. They're worse than that.
Oh yeah.
Because they don't wait till you're dead to feed on you.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, how you doing?
You know, I'm hanging in there. Keeping up as best as I can. Did a little bit of exercise today.
Good.
Push-ups, crunches, squats, leg lifts, whatever.
Vultures. They're making all this money. For shits and giggles, I just went to my YouTube analytics. I went to the last show I did about Maddie. Anybody want to hear how much money I made on that last show? Anybody? Anybody want some breaking news? Either you're going to laugh, feel sorry for me, or think Deborah Disney is a real dumb fuck. Hey, vultures. This just in from the CLL news desk. This video has gotten 454 views since it was published, which doesn't make any sense, but they always do that shit. I lost a subscriber. My estimated revenue, $8.10. Vultures. Those vultures. Can we please have a pat on the back for me? Just me goes because I blocked someone. Sorry. I can't even buy OJ cat food with that.
Yeah, that ramen was a big hit. Even with, I used to remember she would have such a mischievous little evil smile on her face when I made a fresh bowl of ramen, and she'd try a bite and then steal the rest of the bowl and walk away while staring evil looks and smiles at me. I miss that.
Well, she was a very special child, and I wish this did not happen that way, and I wish a lot of things did not happen the way they happened, and you know what I'm talking about?
Yep, me too.
So I don't understand that. I don't think there's ever anything that anybody could say to me that would make me understand that. So I'm not even going to go further than that into it, but just know that I don't care what you did. There is nothing that would make me hate you. There is nothing that would make me turn my back on you.
Well, I appreciate that, Mom. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome, sweetheart.
And, I just going up for visits and bringing new snacks or new treats for her to try, or showing her new video games or card games and things like that. I miss that.
Oh, you got the 1 minute notice.
Yeah, there it is again. Well, I'll try to call back in another 15 minutes, but you know the deal. If you don't hear from me then, I'll try to call back in the next few days.
Okay, we'll catch up to you then.
Love you,
All
honey.
right. Love you too, and I'll try again in 15 minutes, okay?
Okay.
If I hear 15 minutes one more time.
Hello, you have a call at no expense to you.
I really don't know as a parent how I would stomach this, especially since I have the feeling that Deborah Disney had an idea something inappropriate was going on. I'm not saying she knew, but she made sure when they would come to stay with them that Madeline was around her.
From
Stern.
this call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking.
Hey,
Hi. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, just getting back to what I was saying, just faith and trust, and, message received.
I guess if there's one thing that we wish for is that you had come to us sooner. That you had come to us and let us know what was going on.
Well, unfortunately, I was suffering from a bit of cowardice.
Yeah, but hindsight's always 20/20, and can't do anything about it now. But
All right, we're going to do a little exercise here. Close your eyes, unless you're driving or at work. Don't want anyone to think you're sleeping on the job. Imagine having this conversation with your grown-ass son. I wish you would have come to us and told us what was going on. Imagine this conversation. Bling, bling, without the 15 minutes or you don't have to pay for this call. Mom, Dad, you know that chick with the buck teeth that has the daughter? Well, it seems the daughter has a bit of a crush on me, and I've been getting frisky with her and taking pictures of her I shouldn't take. No. Either or, it's done. It's over. You're going to jail for the rest of your life. Tell us sooner is to help him cover it up. This is what we're dealing with here. This is not about Madeline for these people, including the dad that seems to have a tad bit more common sense than Deborah Disney. They would have helped him cover it up. That's why they keep saying more than once in these conversations, hindsight's 20/20, but if you'd come to us, you wouldn't be in this predicament.
This thing,
It's bigger because of it.
it's a bigger problem because of that. And again, not sure what would be any. I'm sure there would be some things different if you had chosen that path, because there's obviously nothing we could have done without. Well, there's nothing we could have done. I mean, there was only one choice. But we could have talked our way through this. I mean, the phone call that you made to me earlier in the afternoon, if you had at least shared that, we could have talked our way through that and figured out a much better solution than whatever whatever you guys came up with, because none of that was believable. And I was thinking earlier today or yesterday that somehow I feel that you were forced into this, and I don't know, and that's just my speculation, that you were compromised and you were forced to participate in this, and as soon as you got away from the rest of them, you should have called me, and we should have and could have discussed this, and the outcome would have been a lot different than what it is right now. But
I don't want to get your hopes up, and as I said, don't get carried away with any conspiracy theories, but in a way I was compromised, and, when all that stuff.
This is not a conspiracy theory. They have pictures of him and Maddie. They confronted Jen with them. Listen.
Go back inside. Me? I don't care if it's the love of my life sitting next to me. I don't care if it's maternal grandma. If the police come and take my mom's phone and my son's disappearance, I'm not going to offer my mom a lawyer. That's nuts to me. That to me shows you prioritizing Stefan. Because at that point, you became more worried about him being falsely accused than anyone. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Whether or not that's what you felt, does that make sense? People having lawyers is their constitutional right. That is a thing that everybody is afforded. But for somebody who's going through what you were going through, to offer him a lawyer leads me to believe that there may have been a conversation, there may have been knowledge, or there may have been some inclination that you had, whether it be his involvement, her location, or something to where in your mind there's guilt.
I promise you.
Because you offering him a lawyer is very weird.
I know. That was still me under the assumption that, I think at one point you guys interviewed me, and when you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if he did this stuff fine, but what if she's still missing out there? What if somebody took her? I still wanted to believe I believed him. I believed his whole story. So I was just like, I kept repeating that part. I'm just like, what if she did get dropped off? What if she got abducted? What if she's missing? But that was me assuming that you guys had the wrong guy. I wanted to think he was a good guy still, but clearly he's not. After everything you guys have told me and have shown me, I know he's the worst person on this face of the earth.
You know that now. We know he's a piece of shit now.
You know?
But you didn't know that then.
I didn't.
Then you offered a guy who the police suspected of kidnapping, abducting, assisting the disappearance. Offered him a lawyer. And then we don't have to roundtable that. You went back to what you just said is the sex stuff is fine.
Uh-huh. 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 The sooner the better for Jen Soto to be in jail. Just me, whoever's in Discord, remind me to tell Kat that I'm not buying it. Won't be back in Spain until November. You know how Kat is all over Europe. So she's in Spain. I was hoping she would meet up with I'm not buying it. But there's always November, right?
I mean,
I'm going to take my $8.10 and meet you gals over in Spain.
I knew that life was going to be hard for her. Her mom certainly didn't do her any favors, and since I had no say in the matter of how she was raised or disciplined or anything, there was nothing I could do about it but sit back and watch the train wreck as it unfolded.
Yeah, and she's trying to tell everybody that it was a little angel and she had no problems with her, and you were already telling us that they were butting heads like two Rocky Mountain rams.
Yeah, they had gotten physical on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, I figured they did that again. But okay.
You know, I often played mediator between the two of them because I was the only one that could talk either of them down when they started going at it with each other.
Yeah, I know.
Where were the roommates when all this is going on?
You know, upstairs, doing their own things.
Was all that screaming and yelling and crap going on?
Yeah,
I'm surprised
it's kind of, honestly, it wasn't that far out of place in that house. Was often given to yelling or loud crying or outbursts, and it was given to yelling and screaming and coming down on people. It was happening a lot more and more often, which is why I kept trying to tell you, I think maybe your meds are becoming less effective. It seems like you're becoming more erratic and more unstable. It seemed like the more stable I became, the more unstable she became, like we switched places.
Well, I always told you she was a black hole to need. So nothing to do about it now, but what I hate the worst is that she's sitting in a hospital having 3 meals a day, clean sheets, television, access to phone, reading, walking around free, taking a shower by herself, and you're sitting where you are.
Oh my God. So she's in a hospital getting food, taking showers by herself, and you're sitting where you are. Listen, murder is murder. Okay? Murder is murder. Those pictures speak 1,000 words. And his mom says, sounds like a black hole to me. Oh, it's worse than that. Anita said, I know we need not get all caught up in our feels, but I'm a mama and this is burning my gears. Me too. Moss Mummy said you were forced to participate? No. No. This was 100% his idea. Now, I do not go with what goofy ass Gray Hughes says when he says Jen Soto was groomed too. No way. She did go along with it. And there you are. You're in county jail. She's free. She's walking around. She's taking a shower by herself, and you're sitting where you are. You people are whacked.
Yeah, I guarantee her food's probably a lot better than mine.
Oh, I guarantee it's a lot of stuff is better than yours.
Well, it'll all come out in the wash.
Yeah, well.
Hopefully.
very, 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 very slim chance of doing anything about any of this, and I'm praying to God and asking for His help to make it possible. But
Well, how about giving up the chivalrous part and lay some truthisms on?
what's that?
I said, quit being so chivalrous and protective of. Start laying some truth bombs on her.
You know,
There's truth bombs there.
maybe none is groundbreaking or bombastic as you might hope for, but there are some truths there, some ugly truths and some not so pretty truths, but I guess I reacted to everything the way I did because I wanted to shield her. I wanted to keep her from getting any blowback from him, but
you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have, because that left them only one person to lay everything on. That was you.
Yep. And I should have just done the correct thing from the get-go and let the chips fall where they may. But I couldn't stand the idea of losing them both horribly like that. And I lost them both anyway, so it's pointless.
Yeah.
There was just so much agony and so much pain, so much shock and so much trauma. My mind was just not, it wasn't me anymore. I wasn't in control of myself anymore. I was doing things that I wouldn't do. I wasn't acting or thinking rationally. It was just panic and fear and...
Yeah.
Murder aside, if it, and you know what it I'm talking about, happened just one time, if it was just suggested, now watch how I use the word just, one time, it is a crime, it is inexcusable, it is punishable by law. So this whole he was forced to participate for 5 years holds zero water. None.
You know, Stefan, I can't help but get the feeling that none of this that was on the phone was a surprise to you.
She was aware that I had certain feelings towards me.
Yeah. Well, then why would she send her in there to sleep with you?
Wow. Yeah, she was aware that she had feelings for me. And then there's his mom. There's Deborah Disney, Deborah Laundry, whatever you want to call her. Like Mrs. O said, she gives me Roberta Laundry vibes. Yeah, that's what Angie's been calling her throughout the whole show. She goes, yeah, then mommy, she'd send her in there to sleep with you. Oh, hell no. Back up the truck, dump out the gravel, roll over it, and get the hell out of town. Okay? As if it's some sort of sign. I'm not buying it. Said, play that bit again, Brooks. I'm like, babe. This is disgusting. Y'all, I thought my stomach was doing somersaults before. This one takes the cake.
Groundbreaking or bombastic as, you might hope for, but there are some truths there, some ugly truths and some not so pretty truths, but I guess I reacted to everything the way I did because I wanted to shield her. I wanted to keep her from getting any blowback from him, but
you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have, because that left them only one person to lay everything on. That was you.
Yep. And, I should have just done the correct thing from the get-go and let the chips fall where they may. But I couldn't stand the idea of losing them both horribly like that. And I lost them both anyway, so it was pointless.
Yeah.
I was just in so much agony and so much pain, so much shock and so much trauma. My mind was just not, it wasn't me anymore. I wasn't in control of myself anymore. I was doing things that I wouldn't do. I wasn't acting or thinking rationally. It was just panic and fear and...
Yeah, I can't imagine.
You know, Stefan, I can't help but get the feeling that none of this that was on the phone was a surprise to you.
She was aware that I had certain feelings towards me.
Yeah. Well, then why would she send her in there to sleep with you?
Okay, this is their mindset. Listen to this again. Jen was aware that Maddie had feelings for Stefan. Thank you, I'm not buying it. She said $2 for buckets to barf in. That's what I'm talking about. His trauma, his panic, not rational thinking. Then here comes Deborah Disney, where he's talking about how Jen was aware that Madeline had feelings for him. No. 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, going on 13. She goes, and then mommy sent her to sleep with you. A grown man would be like, nah, not appropriate. Get in your bed. Get in your room. Even if you're an asshole about it, who cares? Get out of my room, dude. No, this is disgusting.
It wasn't me anymore. I wasn't in control of myself anymore. I was doing things that I wouldn't do. I wasn't acting or thinking rationally. It was just panic and fear and...
Yeah, I can't imagine.
You know, Stefan, I can't help but get the feeling that none of this that was on the phone was a surprise to you.
She was aware that I had certain feelings towards me.
Yeah. Well, then why would she send her in there to sleep with you?
She used to joke about it, call it an electric complex. Used to joke and say, you better not leave me for my daughter when she's older, things like that. Laugh about it, and they used to both ogle over me and comment on me and talk about me together and giggle and talk about how nice I looked, and it was not an appropriate situation.
No, it wasn't.
And, I always had an issue with boundaries.
He said it wasn't an appropriate situation. There's Deborah Disney. No, it wasn't. And I've always had an issue with boundaries. Okay. Having no filter and saying the wrong thing or blurting out a cuss word when you're at the grocery store, that might be a boundary issue. Okay. Violently attacking a child is beyond not respecting boundaries.
She never respected any boundaries that I tried to set. We got in arguments on more than one occasion about the sleeping arrangements, so I, would beg her, please make her go sleep in her own room. And she said, no, it's easier this way for me to wake her up when she's near me. And, it's like we didn't have any privacy and, just didn't have any space to ourselves. And she would suggest, well, maybe you should go sleep in bed instead. And it's like, it's like a twin bed and I'm, 6+ feet and no, why would I want to do that instead of sleeping in our king size bed, I should have broken up with her a long time ago and just distanced myself.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Should have, would have, could have. Hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah, it seems to be my
Yeah, look, Gold Girl 9, she caught it too. That sounds more like Jen was part of the grooming, in my opinion. Sounds exactly like it to me. Mrs. O said at Brooks, can this conversation be taken as a confession? I think it's be taken as more than that. It's actually going to align with the evidence. I got to go back. Hang on. Replay queen. Replay queen.
Gather and giggle and talk about how nice I looked, and it was not an appropriate situation.
No, it wasn't.
And I always had an issue with boundaries. She never respected any boundaries that I tried to set. We got in arguments on more than one occasion about the sleeping arrangement, so I, would beg her, please make her go sleep in her own room. And she said, no, it's easier this way for me to wake her up when she's near me. And it's like we didn't have any privacy, and just didn't have any space to ourselves. And she would suggest, well, maybe you should go sleep in bed instead. And it's like, it's like a twin bed, and I'm 6+ feet, and no. Why would I want to do that instead of sleeping in our king size bed? I should have broken up with her a long time ago and just distanced myself.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Should have, would have, could have. Hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah, it seems to be my superpower. Useless superpower. Captain Hindsight.
Well, you certainly didn't appreciate it when I told you that.
No, I certainly didn't. Typical, kid trying to make their own way or have their own ideas and realizing only too late, how valuable their parents' advice really was.
Yeah. Well, this is a shit show that rivals a pigsty.
Yeah, this is not something that you recover from.
None of us will ever recover from this. Ever.
1 minute remaining.
It's not recoverable. Okay, you got your 1 minute warning, and they're probably not going to give you a fourth run at this.
Yeah, someone's screaming in the background right now, too.
Okay, honey, I hear them. So, you going to try to call back tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll see if I can call back in the next couple of days. I probably got about $18, $19 left on the phone account, and I got like 17 cents left in the commissary account.
We'll try to do something about that.
Okay.
When do you need to have the commissary replenished?
What?
When do you need to have the commissary replenished?
Whenever you're able to, I guess. I did get a pad of paper, though.
Nice.
You think of what?
He got a pad of paper.
Oh, okay.
I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in the next couple days.
All right.
Okay, we love you too, honey. Bye.
Bye.
Wow. Pass the Kleenex. We're all feeling so bad for Stefan and his parents. We will never recover from this. No, you won't. You're going to be wearing the scarlet letter for a very long time because all this stuff is out. Like I said, you want to throw him a tenner here and there so he can get some root beer barrels and some coffee? Have at it. You want to keep money on his books so he can call home? Have at it. But my conversations with my child would not go anything like that. Nothing like that. And I mean it. When I say nothing like that, I mean nothing like that. No way, no how. They should be morbidly disgusted. They should be beyond disgusted, annoyed, irritated, and frankly, grossed out. But now we're back to, and we've heard it before, it's all the YouTubers' fault. It's all the YouTubers' faults. Hey, this is the printed word, dude. This is the printed word. What can we do? Whew. Well, there is more to come in the case of Madeline Soto for sure. So I hope everybody, whether you're listening in the bushes or you're actively chatting, has got your reminder set and is subscribed. And please leave me a comment after the show, whether you're in here and you just want to say hi or you're on the replay. But I want to say thank you so much for you all supporting this channel, being the best friends that anyone can have on these YouTube streets. I want to say thank you to True Crime Beat for letting me steal her material. What did Daisy used to say? This is what I did. Daisy used to go, "She's stealing my content. She's stealing my content." Yeah, I stole True Crime Beat's content, but at least I told her about it. Y'all are the absolute best. You have a great rest of your Tuesday. Get some tacos for me. Get some tacos for OJ. And I'll see you back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Sharp, because we have part 2 with Aunt Molly talking about Alana Raffield. I think we might be getting somewhere in that case. And I'm probably going to be stealing someone's content tomorrow. Love you guys. You're the best.